one, Alan Hull, whose ain't shit daddy got twisted on a Four Loko before they went into battle and decided that he wanted to make up for the fact that he abandoned him, his mammy, and his brother, never claimed them, and was just like, hey, bro, my bad. Would you like a buzz ball? Hi guys, it's Jessica. Welcome and welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to completely ignore the fact that I still owe you a couple of House of the Dragon review episodes from season 2, and we're just going to talk about season 3 episode 1, and I'll just get to those when I get to them. Don't judge me. I'm doing my best, okay? I have a full-time job in this economy. Y'all don't pay me. I'm doing what I can. Okay, so let's get right into it. So much happened this episode, and I have been seeing that apparently this was supposed to be the finale of season 2, which if it was, wowzers, okay? I feel like this episode was on par with Game of Thrones' Battle of the Blackwater, not Battle of the Bastards. Battle of the Bastards is still by far the best episode of TV I've ever seen, and I will not debate anyone about that. I think that it should be given a posthumous Oscar, even though Oscars are for film and not TV. That's how great I think that episode was. But this was very much on par with the action and the intrigue of the Battle of the Blackwater. So I just want to say that if Alicent don't do nothing else, she gonna fuck up a plan. I, she always does things. I feel like she does things with the best of intentions, but it's just always some manner of a misunderstanding. And like, stop pulling up to Dragonstone. Okay, you're taking chances that you shouldn't be taking. You done convinced our poor queen that she has a chance to just swoop in and take King's Landing while your psycho son is supposed to be off on a battle, and he's decided that he ain't going nowhere because his brother, who he tried to kill, has left, has fled. Okay, and also, can we talk about why did Laris look a little different? Did Laris get a little work done before he decided to abscond with the king? What was that about? And then I'm just sitting here thinking, like, the infection. He has open wounds, and you have him in a chicken coop. He's gonna die from infection. Was sepsis not a thing in the Seven Kingdoms? I was so worried. I also saw like a clip from the post-show like podcast episode that initially he was not, it wasn't written in the show for him to bend the knee to the people who were siding with Rhaenyra. And he decided that, like, no, his character would not have just immediately bent the knee. He was too arrogant. He was, you know, he was the king, so he wasn't going to do that. And I was looking at Lars like, baby, what is you doing? And it's like, is he like a Peter Baelish level manipulator? Sure. But he tends to know what he's doing in a way that I do not want to give him credit for. But why did he look different? Why did he have a glow up? Are these people not contractually obligated to keep the same face throughout the series? Because I know Kit Harington, who played Jon Snow, was not allowed to change his hair for the entirety of the series. So I have questions about that. I want to pull over right here to highlight the MVPs of the episode. Number 1, Alan Hull, whose ain't shit daddy got twisted on a Four Loko before they went into battle and decided that he wanted to make up for the fact that he abandoned him, his mammy, and his brother, never claimed them, and was just like, hey, bro, my bad. Would you like a buzz ball? And Alan still came through in the clutch and killed that sea bitch, which I so appreciate that her hubris was her undoing. I was rooting for that lady to die. I also absolutely loved that we saw how talented of a sailor and a leader the sea snake was, like getting them through that very rough patch of water. And when he told him at scoot over, I'll do it. A black mother if I've ever seen one. Okay, I absolutely love that part. I was absolutely horrified when the sea bitch and her people was able to get through it. I was like, damn, we all about to die. But Alan came through and he never called that man his daddy. But when he saw that lady, and we don't know, is the sea snake dead? I hope not, because one thing he gonna do is fall in the water. Okay. And Alan was like, Father. And he went in and he got her out of the game. I was thrilled. I was thrilled. MVP status. I also want to say Bayla. Bayla's dragon, I think, is the smallest of the dragons, but she knows how to maneuver. Okay. She was whipping that thing. Okay. I was very proud of Bayla. And is her dragon is Moon Dancer? I think her dragon is Moon Dancer. I also want to give an honorable mention to Ulf. Ulf revealed to us that he was gay for pay in King's Landing, and one of his Johns convinced him that he had a greater purpose in life. And that man thought that by going on this dummy mission, he was going to get a castle. And they were like, knights don't get castles, lords get castles. Ulf is just so tapped out of anything that has to do with anything. He just be out here doing his best. What the fuck was that horned man that we saw up on that cliff? Apparently, this is a green man, and apparently, he's like a spirit of the woods or something. And apparently, Adam is going to go to him to seek counsel. But for a minute, I thought I was having a neurological episode because I was like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Then here comes Alice Rivers, and somebody said on Twitter that Alice talks as if she's read the books. There were a couple of times this episode where I felt like the tone of the writing was a bit modern. Because when they were like, girl, who is you? And she was like, well, I'm a witch. I don't want to call it lazy writing, but it just felt a bit modern to me. But I do want to say that I appreciate her having a better wig this season. We love when the wigs get improved, okay? And she told them that they were missing the battle. I just appreciate that she slides in right when she needs to, right when she needs to. But she does kind of come off as like, well, and it makes sense, right? Like, she is a witch. She does know the things. She does seem to know the outcomes. But the way that she delivers lines so matter of factly, or that line so matter of factly, it just took me out of it for a moment. And I kind of felt the same thing with Massaria. I felt that the way Massaria was reacting to Rhaenyra completely crashing out because her son 5150'd her, it just looked a little bit modern. She was like, oh my God. You could see her getting the ick in real time, which it was also like, girl, what is you doing? Calm down. Calm down. But I also get it. Like, you are the queen of the seven kingdoms because we only recognize Rhaenyra in this house. Okay? You're the queen of the seven kingdoms, but you keep getting infantilized, least of all by your son. And moment of silence for Jace. I felt so triggered. Everybody else was triggered by his death with the arrows, thinking of Robb Stark. I was thinking of the younger Stark that got killed because he didn't know the serpentine when you run. You can't run in a straight line. You got a serpentine. That's why Ramsay was able to take him out of the game. That's what I was thinking of. Why did that child's name just fall out of my head? But anyway, and I always tell everybody, Robb Stark is the worst thing to ever happen to that family. I will not argue the point with anybody. All he had to do was roll the dice on marrying an ugly woman. And instead, he wanted to go for the foreign baddie and offended the most crotchety nigga in the whole of the seven kingdoms at the time. And everybody got murked because you couldn't just do what you're supposed to do. I will hate Robb Stark with his fine ass for the rest of my life. Okay? Fuck him. Anyway, Jace, I feel like he just wanted so badly to have the valor and to earn, you know, a reputation as a king, right? And it just didn't go how he wanted it to. And the writing on this part, I think, was really good because they gave us so much hope. They took our feelings up, then down, then further down. So it was one thing when we saw that and heard the dragon die. These are fictional characters, I mean, fictional mythological creatures, but I love the dragon so much. I wish I could have a dragon. It's one of my dreams. I don't know where I would keep it in Brooklyn, perhaps on the roof, but I want a dragon, okay? And not like a lizard. I want a dragon, okay? Anyway, it's really difficult to see and hear the dragons die. I don't know. Maybe it's because like we can see that they made their movements to look cat-like, and so they have this kind of domesticity to them, and so it's really really sad when they die, and the just seeing it just be like pulled down into the water, and we see Jace is like struggling to unhook himself. He unhooks himself, and then he finds like a board to float on, and I was like, okay, Titanic, hello, and we think that he's gonna make it, and then the arrows. And I just, it's like we knew that it was going to happen, but you're still not ready for it. And just RIP, um, that poor baby. And poor Rhaenyra. My girl can't keep a kid alive. And this brings me to Rhaena. I was so hopeful that Rhaena was going to come through with the spirit of her grandmammy, and she did not. I was so hopeful that this wild, deformed dragon was gonna slide through and be like the hero. He was not. He was not. And Homeboy wasn't listening to any of the commands. He was out there doing his thing. But when you think about, these are animals that have been domesticated to some degree. This is a wild animal. He don't know what the hell he doing. He out there, he overstimulated. Okay. He has no idea what's going on. He was doing his best. Justice for Sheep Stealer. Okay, that diva was doing her absolute best. And also I'm gonna give Ray Ray a little bit of grace here, because I too have been led into a false sense of security by a man who was rough around the edges, who brought me a meal, who purchased me a couple of meals. Like, who among us? So we all gonna act like a dude who took us to dinner didn't also end up being the fucking devil? Uh, so we're all perfect now? Mind, have you had barbecued goat? Have you had grilled goat? I think that we're giving her a little bit too much judgment here. But I am afraid of what's going to happen to her when she get back to Rhaenyra, because you abandoned the kids that she has left, and then you got her oldest kid killed. She gonna kill you, and I'm not gonna be able to stop her. I'm not gonna be able to stop her. But Bayla did her thing. Um, I'm fully rooting against the Greens, but I love James Norton. I love him real bad. I love that he came out of that tent looking like an absolute bad bitch. I need to know what he was smelling. Was it incense? Was it poppers? Did they somehow vaporize milk of the poppy? What he got going on? I also got the feeling that he knew that that message wasn't on the up and up, and it looked like that seal had been tampered with. So I do have some questions about that and what his role is going to be. I just really love that man as an actor. And he play a serial killer really well in Happy Valley? Absolutely. But he also played a priest really well on Grantchester, and I just like him in his face. Okay? So I hope that the Greens lose, but I also like that man's face, and I think that he looked like a bad bitch. Y'all, I completely forgot that Bayla and Ray Ray are Damon's kids. Completely forgot. Completely forgot. Damon has been in the haunted castle for so long that I have I've forgotten his connections to the rest of society. Completely forgot. But I'm gonna tell you something. The Starks come through. The Starks are always on the right side of history. The Starks are always like, we gonna do what we got to do. We came here to die. That's crazy. That's crazy, because no. But I absolutely love the Starks. And as much as I would love to believe that I could be like a Stark of Winterfell, I'm a High Garden bitch. I don't want to be cold and dirty and dying. I want to be in High Garden in the sun, dressed like a hoochie and drinking wine. That life is not for me. I've accepted it. I am very excited for this season. We started with an absolute bang. Oh my God. Y'all, they dropped us into the incest so fast. Why did he kiss his mama like that? Why did he kiss his mama like that? And Allison, she looked horrified. And when you think about it, Allison has been manipulated and sexually used and abused by the men around her entire life. And your heart has to go out to her a bit, but it's also like she simply cannot get right. She simply cannot get right because Kristen Cole is doing arts and crafts projects because he's accepted that they're all gonna die. And Gwen, why is his name Gwen? I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I'm excited for the rest of the season. I'm going to do my best to come back to you guys on time, but I'm not going to make any promises because I have a real job now. Okay, it's very demanding, and I made a mistake and became important at it. Okay, so I'm going to do my best. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think is to come. Now, if you read the book, don't come over here ruining it for us. That's one of the books I did not read on purpose because I wanted to not know. Okay, I read the Game of Thrones books, and even though I knew what was going to happen, it deviated so much from, it's almost like two different timelines, but I didn't want to risk it. I wanted to go into this one blind. So don't come over here spoiling nothing for us. Those of us who are ignorant, we gonna discuss it amongst ourselves, okay? Make sure you like and comment and subscribe and share and let everybody know that it's Black people talking about House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. And I'll see you guys for episode 2 soon.